So to wrap up this episode, we're going to be continuing on with what we were doing in the last episode that me and LeBlanc were on. We're going to be doing our prospect previews here once again. We're going to be doing two guys. We got James Hagens and Porter Martone here first up on the list. So James Hagens, born November 3rd, 2006, in New York, went to Boston College this past year. He is mostly known as a center, 5 foot 10, 177 pounds. This year in Boston College, had 11 goals, 26 assists for 37 points in 37 games played with BC. In the World Juniors, he actually had 9 points in 7 games on USA's route to winning the World Juniors this past year. So we'll go to LeBlanc first here. LeBlanc, what are you expecting here out of a guy like James Hagens?
I'm expecting a guy who has a big hockey IQ, very good skater. I'm expecting big things. I'm expecting really big things from him. I think he was the consensus number one pick in September, and then he didn't have a great year at Boston College, and everyone's like, "Oh, trash, write him off." But I honestly see a very good player. I'll be honest. I feel like he could go number 2.
He could very well go number 2.
He's not number 2.
I'm going to say this right now. Oh, sorry.
He's not number 2 on my board, but he's definitely should be up there.
Yeah, he could go number 2. I don't think he's as good as he was profiled to be at the beginning of the year. I think just the slow year with Boston College, I think it may have shown that his development going from, the USHL or, the United States program or whatever to college, it definitely was an adjustment. But I overall do think that Hagens is going to be still a very good player. I will ask this. Could you guys see Hagens maybe taking more time to develop? Possibly? Like maybe he doesn't come to the NHL
I
this
think
year?
so. I honestly am under the impression that I think he might stay another year in college. I think that might be honestly best for his development. I mean, he didn't have a great year, right? It wasn't the best as what people were expecting. Like I think a lot of people were expecting him to maybe put up 50, maybe 60, right? Have like a Macklin Celebrini type year. He didn't do that, but you also got to remember he was playing on a really stacked Boston College team as an 18-year-old. It's not easy to put up a crap ton of points like that. So maybe with him having the complete reins at Boston College, it's going to really help his development. So I think what's best for him would maybe be play another year in BC, especially if he goes to a team where, they're not aspiring him to come in right away. Why not give him another chance to grow his game, completely work out all week, get a little bit more size? I mean, he's 180, which isn't like bad at all, but I mean, you could always add a little bit more weight, a little bit more muscle and weight to throw around. But I mean, yeah, I think another year in Boston College wouldn't be the worst thing for him.
Yeah, he's listed.
Yeah, totally.
He's listed right now as 5'11", 175. I don't expect him to sign his ELC this year. Like I would expect him to go back to school where he's going to have a bigger role in the Boston College offense. And a year under his belt, I think it'll be a great development year for James Hagens. And honestly, if he wants to stay another year, I'm not opposed to that either. Like a following year as well. Like the NCAA, especially the teams in the NCHC, which is the conference that BC plays in, all the schools there, they're known for their developing young players. So
yes, agree.
I think honestly, it's a mandatory requirement. You go back to school.
It does kind of depend on who drafts him. There might be some people who maybe believe the AHL might be a better step for him this coming year. But I mean, honestly, I think the way he looked in BC, I think he's going back to Boston College for another year. But not to say that he's not going to, maybe get a shot in training camp and, get to play some preseason. And maybe, who knows, if he looks pretty good, maybe you keep him around for a little bit. It's different, though, with the NCAA players because I don't think they can play games in the NHL like regular season. They have to go back to college.
So once you sign your ELC, you can't go back to school. Once you get it used to be like that. Any amount of money, you're done. But also, he can't you can't play AHL games until you're 20. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, yeah. So that kind of defeats the purpose.
So I don't mean to contradict you, but Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it's either
know
go
that.
back to school or just go back to school. I think that's the only option you got.
I mean, it's go back to school or play in the NHL when I don't really think you're ready necessarily. Again, like I just think of like, for example, like Jet Luchenko came in, played a couple games, wasn't ready, sent him back to Guelph. But you can't do that with a guy like Hagens because he's in college. So I think honestly, it's somebody who is going to take a little bit to develop. But I think this guy can be a phenomenal player. LeBlanc, what are his strengths?
Like I said, like great hockey IQ. The dude's got great vision. He makes the smart plays. He passes well. He is a very good skater. Like I think he's one of the best skaters in the draft for forwards. And then puck control, dude's nasty with it. I don't know how to say it any better than that. Really great movement of the puck. Really great. He can dish it out too. I feel like he's got to work on a few things though, but we want to say those now. Or want to get to it later?
I was gonna go into that next. What are his like weaknesses?
All right. He's not. He needs to get stronger. He needs to beef up. He needs to, of course, being 5'11", 175. That's not bad size. But I assume he's going to grow into his body. But he needs to work on his strength and physicality. His compete level isn't where it needs to be. His pace, he needs to adjust to the NHL pace. And then, once again, with young players, what's the one mistake they always make? I'm going to ask you this right now.
What is it?
Forcing plays.
I'm not even going to guess because I don't think you're wrong. Forcing plays. Yeah, totally. So, yeah, Carter, anything more to add on Mr. James Hagens?
No, I mean, I think that this guy's got all the potential in the world to be the number one player. I think another year in college will do him well. I think LeBlanc touched perfectly on his strengths. I mean, the amount of highlights that I saw at the start of the year from this kid when the hype was like huge around him, and then after, Misa had great years, Schaefer looked unbelievable. All these guys started playing better than him. We didn't see a lot of him. This guy's still an elite player. I remember watching a few clips of him literally take the puck from the top of the blue line, do a full lap, edges like Crosby, doing the little like V steps around, head up the whole way, stick handling, moving around defenders. Like this guy's got great hands, great hockey IQ, as LeBlanc said, and like his head's up the whole way. He knows where everything is. So I mean, whoever gets this kid is going to get an absolute like stud. And he's not bad defensively either. I think he's got a great two-way game as well. I was trying to find his face-off stats somewhere, but I couldn't. So we'll just kind of leave his stats on as far as that out of the way here.
So LeBlanc, I asked you this question when we did Misa and Schaefer. What do you think is the floor for Hagens?
Are we doing player comparable, or you want to just say like in general?
Let's not do player comparable because I think that's kind of hard. Let's just do in general.
We did it last time, and it was a struggle. I'm not gonna lie.
It was pretty bad. Yeah, so let's just do general.
James Hagen, I think his floor is middle sixer. Like,
what do you think his ceiling is?
At worst, he's gonna be a fringe second liner.
Probably, yeah. I think so too. Like he's gonna be either a fringe second line guy, maybe a high end 3C. But yeah, that's probably his floor. What do you think his ceiling would be?
At best is 1C, like elite first line center.
Probably, yeah. The Hockey News has his comparable at best case scenario, Jack Hughes. Can you guys see that?
Yeah, I could see that. I think he's got the tangibles for it for sure. It might be a little bit of a stretch to compare him to Jack Hughes because Jack Hughes had the unbelievable national development team stats to like back up that take. But at the same time, he also came into the NHL slow, right? But I mean, obviously James Hagens came into college slow, so that's a little different from the NHL. But I mean, I could totally see that. He's got all the tangibles for it.
What do you think about that, LeBlanc?
Yeah, no, I agree with what Carter said. I feel like when you see comparisons, you always go like, whoa. Like, but I look at them as prospects coming out. Jack Hughes coming out was this highly touted prospect. I see shades of Jack Hughes in Hagen's game. I really do. I see him as Jack Hughes light.
Yeah, totally.
And Jack Hughes is the player we thought he was going to be. He didn't really turn in. He didn't turn into that, but he turned into something better.
Yeah, for sure. So let's move out of James Hagens there. Sorry.
One more thing. I feel like Hagens has to go to the right situation, though.
Probably. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it depends.
I really do think, and I think I've been against them drafting him every time, but a team like Chicago where he can develop with young players, I don't want to see him. I really don't want to see him go to a team like Nashville.
Yeah, me neither. That would suck.
I think that would be the worst case scenario for James Hagens, but I think he's going to go within the top 5, though.
Yeah, I agree. I'd be shocked if he drops out of the top 5. Moving on from Hagens, let's jump into Porter Martone, born October 26, 2006 in Peterborough, Ontario. He spent the year with the Brampton Steelheads. He's 6'3", 208 pounds, is listed as a right winger per the Hockey News. He had 98 points in 57 games played this past year with Brampton. He played 3 games in the World Juniors, only had 1 goal. I like Martone. I think Martone has that really good offensive side to his game. He has a knack to score, but can also be a very good puck mover here as well. I do feel like the hype around Misa and Schaefer and a couple other players kind of really took a lot of it off of Martone, but Martone's still going to be a very good player, honestly, in my opinion.
Yes, you look at Martone, and when you get with Martone is you get just, I'll be honest, kind of a maniac on skates. He's gonna. I feel like he's 18 right now. He's 6'3". He's gonna grow into that. I feel like he might grow to 6'4", 6'5". Big, like he's a great playmaker. He's an amazing playmaker, but he's also can use his body. That's the one thing you like about that. You like a player who can I hate to compare him to a Kachuk, but he's got shades of the Kachuk.
Really? Okay, then.
Great stick handling, great playmaking, great hockey IQ, and then compete level's really good. I got to see Porter Martone play 2 games this year in person, and I know every time we do a mock draft, I have him dropping, but the kid actually blew me away.
Yeah, he's pretty damn good, honestly. Carter, any thoughts on Mr. Martone?
Yeah, I mean, again, LeBlanc kind of hit it right on the head. I mean, this guy is huge. Like, he's not one of these guys that's small and fast. He's big and fast. Like, you want to talk about 6'3", 205, 210 pounds, whatever you want to fully list him at, charging right at you at full speed with the puck, head up, stick handling around you. Oh, that's a scary sight. That is a scary sight. This guy's got an absolute lethal shot. He's probably got an NHL caliber shot for sure. His hands are unbelievable. Again, his hockey IQ, knows where everything is. He's making some unbelievable passes. I can't remember who it was against, but I saw he made this absolutely unbelievable pass for a nice backdoor tap in. Oof. I mean, this guy he's got, again, like Hagens, he's got all the tangibles to be an unbelievable player. And I think that this guy is built for playoff hockey as well.
He really is. He really is, seriously. LeBlanc, what are his strengths?
I think I went over all of them with you. I said stick handling, playmaking, hockey IQ. I think those are the 3 big ones in my mind. I would put his compete level in there too.
He's a maniac. He's crazy.
Yeah, I'm reading a little bit of the Hockey News excerpt here. It's saying, quote, if you need a distillation of Martone's game, just watch the first ever OHL Top Prospects game this season. The power forward notched the Gordie Howe hat trick in an all-star showdown with the goal coming as the OT winner. So, like, again, this guy's an absolute maniac, honestly.
In an all-star game, he gets a Gordie Howe hat trick. When have we, like, okay, outside of, like, John Scott, okay, when have we ever seen that?
Yeah, literally. Like, it's this guy is he's on a different level, it seems, than a lot of other players in this draft. LeBlanc, what are his weaknesses though?
Forcing plays once again, as all young players do, but Martone forces the play more than I would say James Hagens does. I've seen time and time again where Martone has a guy open, not right in the slot, but he's a guy open for the play, and he'll force it to the guy that's covered. And I've seen it time and time again. But that's the goal of coaching, so you just need him to get that out of his system and develop it. He's not the best defensive forward. He's not great on the back check.
Yeah.
Some players are like that. Sometimes you can coach it into them. Sometimes it's like, that's who he is. And then
Yeah, honestly.
I would say his skating pace as well. So he needs to work on his skating. Once again, big guy. I say like the bigger guys, their skating is always questionable coming into drafts. That's usually the biggest concern with guys who are over 6'3" is skating's not that great. Fix goal of coaching. But yeah, Martone. On multiple draft boards I've been seeing as I'm the draft guy. I like to watch videos on the draft, look at mock drafts. Martone is slipping on boards. I don't know why.
He is.
I feel like after the combine, we're gonna have him going top 4.
I think it's just like it's the hype around all the other players. I think like everybody looks at Frondell and Denoye, and we're like, oh, like yes, but I think everybody kind of forgets like how good this guy really is.
Yeah, and like and Martone wasn't. I don't think he was injured this year. I don't believe he.
I don't believe so. I do think he got hurt in the World Juniors. I know Schaefer did as well.
Yeah, Schaefer was his collarbone. I think Martone was just like off and on. Like, just never got a fair shot.
Well, I mean that World Junior team was pretty awful.
We don't need to talk about the World
Junior. We don't need to talk about that, Nordic. We get it. You won. Okay, let's move past it.
I wasn't talking about how we won. I was just talking about how like Canada was just so dysfunctional.
But
hopefully next year's better though. You guys have a lot of good guys coming up.
For his development, I know there's rumors on him going to Penn State. I know that's been put out there.
Yes, sir. I did forget about that. LeBlanc, what do you think this guy's floor is?
Third liner.
Third liner? Okay. What about the ceiling?
Ceiling, he's not a center. So I want to put that out there. He could be a really good first line winger. I don't think he's going to be an elite first line winger though.
And I can maybe see it. He has the shades. I think he's going to be like again.
But once again, you need to go to the right situation.
He would be a guy like Matthew Tkachuk
what's
in a way.
What's his comparable for the hockey news? Like, what when you got the thing, what's his comparable?
You know what it is? It's actually Matthew Tkachuk.
Oh my god!
What do you guys think about? Do you guys think that could happen? I think it's like not. He'd be like a
Matthew Tkachuk,
a tier below
Matthew Tkachuk light. Like he has shades of Matthew Tkachuk. Like I'm not gonna say no.
I feel like he'd be like a tier below Matthew Tkachuk, like slightly below Tkachuk if he's at his best.
I'm gonna say this. I think the best situation for Martone to go to. You could say Chicago because they need a big a player like Martone. I really think Utah or Philly could really use a guy like Martone.
If Martone's at 6, I think Philly would be so dumb not to take him. I think even like. I don't think he gets to 6 either. I mean, he honestly might with the way that these teams are.
These boards have been so weird where, like, once I'm seeing, like, Martone slipping to, like, 6 or 7 or Hagens is slipping to 6 or 7. One of these guys is going to slip.
Yeah. Somebody's going to slip. We're going to be shocked. Yeah, Anaheim's not picking top 3 this year, so
I mean, last year was Demidov. He slipped.
Yeah, last year was Demidov. Probably might be the best player out of that draft besides Celebrini at the end of things, which is still crazy to me. I wouldn't be shocked if Martone's the guy this year, but honestly, like, again, like, I do agree, like, if Utah or Philly really could use a player like him, although I think Utah would.
The Athletic had him at, who they publish a mock draft every 2 weeks. They had him at 8.
Jesus Christ.
That's low.
Yeah, and
that's
like
criminal.
Here's the thing, I like Frondell. I like him as a prospect. I'm in my eyes, Martone and Frondell are on the same level of tier of prospect.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking, if a lot of mocks have Frondell at number 3, Frondell's at 3. You got to take Martone at 4, or at least for me right now. There's no way in my mind he slipped out of the top 5.
Yeah. One more thing on Martone. You guys did say he is going to Penn State. How do you guys feel about that with his development? I think that's going to be a very good move for him, honestly. You see him transition from the OHL to college. I think like if he can do like even remotely what he's been doing in the OHL, like I know the OHL is way higher scoring. I think that could be really huge for his development, honestly.
Is he officially committed to Penn State, or is it just a rumor?
No, it's a rumor right now.
Okay.
But if he were to go to college in general, I think it would be a good move.
If he goes to
I'm not saying that staying in the OHL is bad, but still.
Yeah, if he goes to Penn State, Penn State's a really good up and coming program. They were they in the final or in like the Frozen Four? They're in the Frozen Four.
They were in the Frozen Four.
Yeah.
They almost beat Boston University, but we won't talk about that.
But yeah, I think it's a great program
for
him to go to for sure.
For sure.
Yeah, especially.
Yeah,
I was just gonna say, especially because he can't go to the AHL, as we've already touched base on. I think the jump from junior to college is much better than being 19 years old and playing against the junior guys. And then I think I was listening to, I think it was 32 Thoughts, and you have until I think January 1st. And if he wants, he could end up going back to junior if he wanted to.
Oh, really? So if you were to go to college,
so he could go to college for like the first little bit. If he's struggling, not finding his game, Brampton still owns his rights, or unless they trade his rights, right? He could end up going back to the O.
Oh, okay. I did not know that.
I do want to say as well.
Yeah, me either.
Regarding like Hagens is in college, if he does sign, and let's say they want to send him back, CHL teams have the rights of those players.
Yep.
So if Hagens signs and they say we're going to send you back, he's probably going to go play in the O or the W.
If he could just go to any team at that point.
It depends on who has his rights, because there's a US draft. But I don't know if it's like, I don't know how it would work if he'd go to the WHL or the OHL. That I'm not sure how it works, but I know that someone in one of those leagues would own his rights. Let me see if I can find who it is.
It's usually a regional thing, so I think the O would be where he'd be going. Because usually if the
would be the
kids from out,
New York.
from like the Western United States, they go to the W. If they're from the Eastern United States, they usually would have the rights to the Q or the O in the Midwest.
So his rights are owned by London. So he would be going to the OHL.
I was going to say London would be the perfect spot if that happened.
That's weird. Even though he's never played in the OHL, he'll be able to be sent back.
Yeah, like I think Trevor Connolly's rights are in the Dub right now.
Okay, I did not know that.
Because he was just drafted in the expansion draft for Penticton.
I did not know that. That's actually kind of nice. Let me ask, can you like look up what like who was Ryan Leonard owned by?
Well, Ryan Leonard's signed now, so
I know, but like before, what was he owned by?
The Knights own. I'll be honest. The Knights own a lot of those rights because they'll take the chance on the player in the later rounds of the U.S. draft.
They're also like right there with most of where these guys are from. So
I didn't see anything on Ryan Leonard.
Okay, that's fine. I didn't know that. That's cool. Anyways, that's a wrap for this episode of the NordCast and Northern Block podcast. LeBlanc, any final thoughts?
So this is a funny story because you're gonna laugh. I'm not gonna laugh, but
here we go.
When Tyler Boucher got picked,
oh god,
and he struggled at BU, the 67 owned his rights. So I got to go see his first ever game at 67 where he scored like one of the best goals not of all time, excuse me. Scored one of the best goals I've ever seen live, and I'm right on the glass, and on the replay you could see me jump up as soon as he scored the goal. You could see me in my ripped jeans. But yeah, no, that's how I found out about the NCAA rights, is that the OHL, WHL, and QMHL teams, they draft for the rights of the players.
I did not know that. Actually, yeah, now that I'm looking at it, like he went from BC to the OHL. Wow, I didn't know that. Cool.